have the space, you could. They usually teach you to go below it, but if you, I don't see any reason not to if you have the room to put it on. For arms, I'll let you do. You just saw how it's done. So for arms, you can hop up. It is, but these are pretty simple once you play with them. So my brachial, I did it to you, is right in there. You feel how that's uncomfortable?
Yep.
Okay. So do that to me. Stop it. Yep. You want to get like a wider amount of pressure than just your fingertip. There you go. Okay. Now try and get that thing on there. If I was on the ground, you could really put your knee in there and get to it. So for me, I want you to do it tight and try and stop the pulse in my wrist.
So why don't you just take your, right when you turn to get up to that point, take your finger off the point. He's going to lose a little bit of blood.
He's going to lose a little, but that first guy that I was telling you that I worked on where I saw the movie scenario of blood shooting 15 foot out of his leg, I got to him like 20 seconds after he got hit, got a tourniquet on immediately, and he still, when he got to the hospital, was like, he took like 40, like a ton of blood. They basically told him that if he lost another drop, he would have been dead. So, you know, like, you don't know how much blood he's already lost in the seconds that have happened, so you don't want to give up another drop if you can afford not to. Just keep cranking.
How do you feel?
Oh, I feel great.
Just twist. Usually people turn clockwise.
Well, you want to use your fingertips, not your thumb. We'll have one of the doctors tell me if he's got this on good enough. Where'd they go?
Check pulse.
So it's super uncomfortable, but he got it on effectively. You can see my hands starting to definitely lose color.
Let me see it for myself.
Oh yeah, it's starting to fight.
Yeah, it is.
But you can definitely practice this with your buddies all day. Like, you're gonna get no more sore than if you were working out. So, you know. Please take it off. Real fast. Ooh, that arm feels good. It's like the legs after you come up from a deep dive.
All right.
All right, so I think that covers pretty much everything. We'll do these real quick. So, just lay down one more time. So this I'm not going to be able to demonstrate too well without like a patient with holes in him. But basically, assume that this guy has a hole in his leg that I don't have a tourniquet that can hit. Okay? So I'm going to open my first packet of gauze. Pretty much all these are made. You can just like grab them with your teeth and rip them open. Open my first packet of gauze. It's really important to tie a knot in there. Okay, so that gives you something to work with. It gives you something to work with because you're going to be pushing it inside of his body. Yep. So I have a knot, and then I'm holding the spool, if you will, with my hand, and I'm just going to start folding it on top of each other and pushing it down inside of his body. And I'm not trying to be gross, but the guy I worked on that I was telling you that had a junctional bleed like this, I was probably to my wrist inside of his leg with my hands. So get all the way in there, and that's why it took me 4 bags of gauze. And you can just pull it and keep overlapping your hands. Now I'm also maintaining pressure the whole time. So you see how I'm just switching back and forth? And you just keep folding it in and folding it in.
And you worry about the infection part.
Somebody else worries about infection, yeah. Well, in our kits, we have, they call it combat pill pack. It's just got like some painkiller and some antibiotics. If the guy's conscious, we have him take it right away, but in reality, he's gonna get to the hospital, they're gonna give him a freaking ton of antibiotics right off the bat anyway. So I'm not doing this and looking at it, so it hasn't been super clean, but what I am doing that's important is I'm maintaining constant pressure while I'm filling this hole in his leg up. Okay, so imagine I filled that hole up. Now I'm going to grab a ball to have pressure on top. Can somebody give me one more thing of gauze and one more ace bandage?
I got combat gauze.
All right, we'll just pretend. I don't want to open the combat gauze. So we'll pretend that I wrapped his leg with some gauze in addition to this ball. So I'm still holding pressure. Definitely prep all your stuff so you're not pulling it out of bags when you need it. Not the gauze though, leave the gauze in the bags. But this kind of crap, like this doesn't need to be sterile. You can have this open. clips are useless, you don't need them. Okay, so maintaining the pressure. He's now got a ball on there that I'm going to create pressure over. Yeah, so this one I'm working for pressure because this ball needs to apply pressure to his leg. My first one doesn't have to be super pretty, but it's giving me that pressure I need. And then your goal after that, so if I had some wraps of gauze, that ideally wouldn't have happened. But your goal after that, after you get your tight wrap on, is to come over it and clean it up and cover up all the gauze.
You're trying to make that ace bandage as wide as possible.
You are on everything but your first one. Your first one, if it's narrower, it's going to help apply more pressure to it. So I'm coming a little wider. And for a big old squat boy leg, guy does deadlifts, you might need to throw 2 of these things on there.
Good amount. I'm a rower. Use my legs a lot.
Okay, and then these, all you really need to do to secure this guy is just tuck it in under itself and pull it through. Those metal clips are like garbage. They're not going to do you any good. So you pull it through. This is applying pressure on it, but you guys can tell this isn't half as effective as a tourniquet. But if I stuck hemostatic gauze up inside of his leg, it's helping with the clotting. Anybody need to see that before I take it off?
Oh, he's the lion.
Alright, so there's some stuff over here. Feel free to look at all these various items that we talked about. Other than that, unless you guys have any questions, that's all I really got.
When you're applying pressure in that upward thighs with your hands, are you looking to feel the femur and actually like apply pressure against the femur, or is there something you're feeling for? You just pressure in general?
It's really you got to try it with somebody. It took you no time to figure out where it was on me. It's just if somebody grabbed you under your arm, so right there,
Yeah.
is going to be your I can feel your pulse right now. Same thing on your leg. Just try it out with something like one of your friends or something.
So the area that I think most pulse. Yes.
Yeah, and you can just basically feel it's going to feel like a pressure point too. So it's going to be super uncomfortable. In your ankle, you can look up where you feel your pulse down here, and you can mess with them and put a lot of pressure until you're cutting it off. So, like I said, the first dude,
Play around with it.
play around with it. It's a huge meaty object, and a lot of time they teach like put all your weight on it, but you can stop it with like 2 fingers. So it's not as dramatic.
Around, make sure you get like an aspirin or something.
What's that? I don't think so. We do like tourniquet stuff all the time. He didn't even get me all bruised. Like we'll bruise, and I've never had any kind of issues. Like if you do it super tight or you're an easy bruiser, you might bruise, but I mean, if you're taking it off within 30 seconds, it's not going to cause any permanent damage. I hope. I'm not promising you that. Any other questions? Cool.
Thank you.